Eziakụ was a quiet Igbo village surrounded by tall palm trees and flowing rivers. The people lived simple lives, following the rules handed down from their ancestors. In this village, men ruled and women followed. Everyone believed the gods had made it so, and no one dared to question the ways of old. At the center of Eziakụ stood the palace of Ugonma, the king. Ugonma was a wise and kind man who had ruled the village for many years. Under his leadership, Eziakụ enjoyed peace and prosperity. The people loved their king and respected him greatly. But there was one problem. Ugonma had no son to inherit his throne. His only child was a daughter named Ugonma. Ugonma was beautiful, with smooth caramel skin, bright eyes, and a warm smile. But more than her beauty, she was wise and brave. She loved her village and often helped her father in solving problems. The villagers admired Ugonma, but whispered behind her back, "What will happen when Ugonma is gone?" They asked, "Who will rule us? A woman can never be king." The elders were worried too. Tradition forbade a woman from sitting on the throne. "The gods will be angry if we break the rules," said Eziakụ, the oldest elder. "We must find a way to choose a new king." Ugonma heard these whispers but stayed silent. She respected the traditions of her people but couldn't help wondering why a woman couldn't rule if she was strong enough. Deep in her heart, a seed of doubt about tradition began to grow. One evening, Ugonma called Ugonma into his chambers. His once strong voice was now weak and his eyes looked tired. He sat on a wooden stool, holding his staff with trembling hands. "My daughter," he began, "our people are worried about what will happen to Eziakụ when I am no longer here." "Papa, don't say that," Ugonma replied, kneeling beside him. "You will live many more years and continue to lead us." The king smiled faintly. "No one lives forever, my child. The gods have given me many blessings, but they did not give me a son. The elders are worried because tradition says only a man can rule. But Ugonma, if I could choose, I would make you king." Ugonma's eyes widened in shock. "Papa, the people will never agree. The elders will not allow it." "I know," Ugonma said, "but I also know that you have the heart of a lion. You are wise, brave, and full of love for our people. That is what a king needs. Promise me, my daughter, that no matter what happens, you will always protect Eziakụ." Tears streamed down Ugonma's face. "I promise, Papa," she said, her voice trembling. The king smiled and placed his hand on her head. "That is all I need to hear." From that moment, Ugonma carried her father's words in her heart. She didn't know how she would fulfill his wish, but she promised herself that she would find a way. One early morning, the palace became silent. Ugonma had passed away in his sleep. The news spread quickly across the village, and soon the air was filled with wails and cries of sorrow. "Our king is gone," the villagers mourned. "Who will lead us now?" In Eziakụ, the death of a king was not just a family's loss, but a village tragedy. People gathered in groups, whispering about what would happen next. The palace gates were closed, and the elders held a private meeting to decide what to do. Tradition says we must find a new king, said Mazike, the leader of the elders. But who would take the throne? Ugonma had no son. Another elder nodded. We must consult the gods. Only they can guide us. Ugonma sat quietly in her room, her heart heavy with grief. She thought about her father's words and how much he had trusted her. But she also thought about the elders and the villagers. How could she make them see that she was worthy of leading Eziakụ? The next day, the villagers began preparing for Igwe Okafor's burial. Drums echoed through the air, and women wailed loudly. Ugonma watched from a corner, her face calm but her mind racing. She knew her father would not want her to stay silent, but she also knew the road ahead would not be easy. As the sun set over Eziakụ, the village fell into a deep silence. But in Ugonma's heart, a storm was brewing. The day after Igwe Okafor's burial, the elders gathered to consult the oracle. The villagers followed behind, their faces full of curiosity. Everyone wanted to know who the gods would choose as the next king. The shrine of the oracle was deep in the forest. The path was narrow, surrounded by tall trees that swayed gently in the wind. At the shrine, Dibia Nwafọ, the oracle, sat cross-legged, his face painted with white chalk. He held a staff carved with sacred symbols. Mazike stepped forward. Great Dibia, he said, bowing. We come to seek guidance from the gods. Our king is gone, and we need to know who will rule Eziakụ. The oracle closed his eyes and began chanting. The villagers watched in silence as the drums beat slowly, their deep sound filling the air. Smoke rose from a clay pot beside the oracle, and the smell of burning herbs spread through the forest. After a long silence, the oracle opened his eyes. The gods have spoken, he said in a deep voice. The next king will have the heart of a lion and the wisdom of the elders. The villagers murmured among themselves. Who could it be? Surely the gods meant a strong man. No one even thought of a woman. But Ugonma, standing quietly at the back of the crowd, felt her heart race. Her father's words echoed in her mind. You have the heart of a lion. Could the gods be talking about her? As the crowd dispersed, Ugonma stayed behind, staring at the oracle's shrine. She knew that if she wanted to fulfill her father's wish, she would have to act boldly. The next morning, the elders gathered in the palace to discuss the oracle's message. We must search the land for the man the gods have chosen, said Mazike. He must be strong, wise, and fearless. The other elders nodded in agreement. Yes, we cannot delay. As they spoke, the palace doors opened and Ugonma walked in. The elders turned to stare at her, their eyes wide with surprise. Women were not allowed to enter their meetings without permission. Why are you here, Ugonma? Mazike asked sharply. This is not a place for women. Ugonma stepped forward, her head held high. I am here because I believe the gods were talking about me, she said. Her voice was steady, but her heart pounded. The elders burst into laughter. A woman? King? Are you joking? One of them asked. I am not joking, Ugonma said firmly. My father believed I had the heart of a lion. I have grown up in this palace, learning how to lead. I love this village and its people. Why can't I be king? Mazi Ike's face darkened. Tradition forbids it, he said. The gods will never allow a woman to sit on the throne. Didn't the oracle say the next king would have the heart of a lion? Ugonma asked. Did he say it must be a man? The room felt silent. The elders didn't have an answer, but they were not ready to accept Ugonma's bold claim. Mazi Ike finally said, the people will never agree to this. Go home, Ugonma. Do not bring shame to your father's name. But Ugonma didn't leave. She stood tall and said, I will not give up. Thank you for watching the first part of this incredible journey. Ugonma's courage had just begun to shake the walls of tradition, but her greatest challenges are yet to come. Will she prove to the elders and the villagers that she has what it takes to lead? Or will the weight of tradition and opposition crush her dreams? The answers lie in part 2, where the story takes an even more dramatic turn. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and have your notifications turned on so you don't miss it. Share your thoughts about Ugonma's bravery in the comments below. Do you think she can overcome the test ahead? We would love to hear what you think. Until then, stay tuned for the next chapter of this unforgettable tale. The best is yet to come.